Let me now bring in Ambassador Casey Singh. At this point, Ambassador Casey Singh, there's a lot of minor gloating that's taking place in our part of the world, mostly because most countries have been singed by American criticism of how our democracies function. And I was saying to Atish before the program began that actually they make a lot of our problems seem tame by comparison, because at least ever since I can remember, I can't remember anybody beyond a minor choo-choo over EVM machines not accepting the result of an election. So, from the Indian perch, what are we seeing happening in the United States of America? And as it stands battered but not broken, does it lose some of its moral smugness in the global order?
2 points. I'll come to America later, but coming to India, look, we also have a right-wing populist leader. Brazil has it. We've also got in Britain. And in different measures, they have debased their systems. Now, in India, we may not have a mob entering the parliament, but BJP doesn't need it because it doesn't allow the opposition to function. It disrupts the function without the requirement of a mob entering the parliament. So essentially, that is what happened with the farmers' bill. They didn't even allow a debate. They didn't send it to a committee. They wouldn't let any contrary opinion come up. And now they're negotiating with farmers at the boundaries of Delhi.
But to be fair, I have not seen the BJP refuse to accept the result of, let's say, any state election is lost. I haven't seen BJP supporters go and grab and storm a state assembly after the result hasn't gone their way. I have not seen this happening in India. Many terrible things have happened here. So I don't want to make this a nationalist point. Many terrible things have happened in our country, but I have never seen this happening.
But what have you seen? That you lose a mandate, then you go and buy the MLAs. So in Madhya Pradesh, you bring the government down. You delay the locking down of India because on March 11, WHO declared a pandemic. And we waited 15 days to lock down India because they wanted to bring the government down in Madhya Pradesh. And until they brought the government down, they would not declare the lockdown. And then they had a last-minute lockdown, which caused so much chaos for the laborers and the workers.
Is it the same? So, is it the same? Is it the same?
No, you can't have a carbon copy. I'm just telling you how institutions get bent. And it will be different for each country. Each country's progress away from normal democracy starts in a different way. But it begins by bending institutions, bringing courts to heel, not listening to opposition, not even letting them win. When they win, you buy their MLAs. You induct them wholesale. And you see what's happened in Bihar just now. They've got a coalition with someone and they go and buy his MLAs in Arunachal Pradesh. Now, these are all signals of how you debase a democracy. And these are the dangers from right-wing leaders. Now, coming to America itself, very quickly, we were looking forward to Biden restoring some of the value system on which America has functioned, not consistently always, because when real politics comes in, it can't be all principle. But he had announced that he'll have a gathering of democracies in US and gather the democracies to counter China. You see what's happened in Europe. The Europeans, Mike Sullivan, in the middle of December, the NSA designate, tweeted that Europe should wait for us. When we come in, we will get together and then deal with China. The Europeans, under the leadership of Merkel, went and signed at the end of the year an investment agreement with China, which negates all your decoupling, all your economic pressure, some of the good things that Trump had done, which means even Europeans were convinced Trump may be defeated, but Trumpism isn't over. And therefore, that is a question to ask. Like in India, you may displace BJP, but that doesn't mean Hindutva will leave overnight.
I think that's the important point, that when Sadanand says it all ended and it should have.
If I may just finish. Therefore, what we are seeing is the party Republicans got very late. They allowed somebody like Trump to write. It's happened in the past also. They've been extreme right-wing rebel rousers who could have become president of America. But the party contained them and didn't give the nomination to them. In this case, the first fault was letting the nomination go to him. And then when has he ever said in the last 6 months he will accept orderly transition? Whenever he was asked a question, he never answered it, that he will accept orderly transition. And therefore, let's not be surprised. He was always headed in this direction. But the only positive thing is that in the Senate, by the end of it, the only 6 senators who were willing to go to one side out of 100. The rest realized that this had gone too far, although I think they started too late. They didn't
Okay.
check him when the time was right. But
Okay.
in the House, there are still 150 guys who went along with him. So therefore,
Sure.
that is the danger which Biden faces.